Well, hello there. I am Happy Owl and I welcome you to this playthrough of Reverse 1999. On today's program, we are picking up 1.6's event story where we left it off previously. This video is the second part of my June 1st, 2024 livestream and is the conclusion to the story. Right now I'm recording this introduction after my livestream on twitch.tv/happyowl_productions, so if you want to come say hi and hang out there, you are more than welcome to do so. Anyway, I hope you enjoy Reverse 1999 just as much as I do, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Stage 17. Jade or Stone. Straight inside the city, night. Only vagrants and outsiders wander the streets on the eve of the Dushore festival. In front of each threshold, sparking fires burn below colorful decorations laid out in the dark night, peering out at each other from across sandy gravel roads that have not yet dried from the rain. Basmet and Yenisei continue their advance toward the Jesse in the quiet, gentle night.
This place looks so different than it does in the daytime. It's so quiet and empty.
But is it bright, like Jiunyangzhe said?
As if it's waiting for us.
Yenisei stops to cast her reflection into a puddle of water, attempting to comfort Basmet.
It's nighttime now. They have lit the braziers. There is cloth of different colors around them. Remember our New Year's? We put up tar barrels and made festive fires. There were also decorations on the houses.
Yes, I remember that. Perhaps people here also stay with their families at this time of year, like we do on New Year's Eve. A heartwarming custom.
Yeah.
Basmet stops to listen carefully to the sound. A moment later, a line of night patrolmen pass by from the corner ahead. They march at ease, without stopping, clearly ready for their shift change and the chance to get home. It isn't until they disappear completely that Yenisei's figure reappears in the puddle.
The guards here are more reliable than ours in the Empire. At least they don't get drunk on New Year's Eve. Madam, we are close to the Jesse.
We didn't prepare anything other than these bottles. Don't cast any skills for now. You need to rest. We don't know what's ahead of us. Hold on. I heard something.
Unlike the neat footsteps of the previous patrol, the distant sound they hear this time is of slower and warier footsteps. The woman and the Lusha hurriedly dart into the shadow of the nearby eaves.
Staggering footsteps, almost limping. Sounds like this person just tripped and fell. Or drunk.
Yenisei follows the sound described by Basmet and looks around.
Chunangse? What is she doing here?
Not far from them, Jiunyangzhe hobbles along. She takes one step, then pauses, 2 steps, then pauses, and finally stops as she prepares to turn down a narrow alley. She looks completely broken down, as though she has just been in a fight, or perhaps she's just drunk.
Why?
Oh no, she's sad. They can hear her talking to herself in the darkness, her voice echoing intermittently against the silently festive street.
Why? No answers for me. How long do I have to wait before I... What is she saying? I don't understand at all. Madam, what about him?
Shh.
They cannot see whether she's crying or not, but there is a soft sobbing that comes out like a whisper. Even so, she clenches her fists as if tightly gripping something.
Is this a mistake?
Amid her silent sobbing, Junyang-zhe relaxes her hand. A long object falls from it and into a puddle on the ground.
Oh, she dropped something and left.
Where did she go?
I don't know if she's going to the tavern, but she has left the port. That's for sure. We should go find out what she dropped.
Yenisei's figure disappears from the puddle. She takes 2 steps, turns around and bites on Besmer's hem, half dragging and half guiding her toward the corner of the alley's entrance, where the light and darkness intersect. Approaching the water, she finally lets go of Besmert and goes around to the other side. Yenisei then lowers her head as though to drink from the puddle, and deftly removes a piece of wood from it. He shakes the water off the wooden slab and leans toward Besmert's hand until her friend can grasp it.
It is a wooden chip. Rough surface and some carvings on it. Is this an inscribed text?
Maybe. Please hold it. I'll check the other side. Starting from the round end, there is a person, I guess, at the top. Then there is another person holding a bowl in the middle.
A person holding a bowl in the middle, and then?
Then there is a striped horse at the bottom. What does it mean?
A striped horse. Vertin once said that the Lushu has a red mane and the markings of a tiger.
You mean this is a Lushu? But it has no colors. Even if it is a Lushu, why was she crying? From my perspective, Junangsi is not a bad person. I think she did all these things for a reason. Some kind of burden only known to herself.
Burden?
I'm only guessing. Since we didn't catch her words clearly, there is no conclusion, madam.
That being said, the two of them fall into a shared silence. Since entering the city, the dark cloud and their uncertain future has followed them like a shadow.
Well, there's no easy answer to any question here. We should meet with Mr. Vertin before making any further arrangements.
Sure.
The woman and the Lushu walk forward at pace. The two increase their speed, arriving outside the grey walls of the Jesse courtyard before they might be discovered by another team of night patrollers. The streets in this area are built with high walls surrounding their homes on all sides, so that people walking by can see nothing but stacked bricks.
Stop here. I hear...
What do you hear? It is at this moment that Vertin flies over the Jesse courtyard's walls. His wings flutter lighter than the previous few times, and he has no intention of stopping until he notices the figure at the foot of the wall. Wait, so did he escape?
Mr. Vertin?
Or perhaps he had no intention of staying until he heard Besmer's voice. Vertin perches on a tree by the roadside, tightly clutching branches bearing leaves that have only just begun to wither. The tree's shadow sways, but he goes silent, only stopping as he recognizes the two figures below. The ground nearby is flat and long dried. Without a puddle, Yenisei can only grab hold of Besmer's hem and tug on it lightly to confirm her guess. Besmert, though, quickly understands. She listens to the sound and walks forward and to one side, eagerly reaching around beneath the tree.
Mr. Vertin!
Why are you here?
Did they let you go? Have you seen Junangsi? She was on the street just now.
Whatever speculation you're making, I am leaving.
Leaving? Are you going after her?
No. I was not meant to be here in the first place. It's only natural that I should return to the mountain.
Yeah, I guess he tried, he failed, so he leaves.
Return? But we're not done with Zhenengzi yet. Yenisei and the others are still in the shape of Lushu. She was turned into a Lushu in front of you. Are you going to just let her be?
She has told you everything.
Yes, she did. Now you're the only one who can persuade others to go after Zhenengzi. We are foreigners here. People won't listen to us.
I am left with no other options. Today, at the Zhici, none of us would have gotten away if I hadn't surrendered.
To be fair, Besmer said that they were foreigners, talking about herself and Yenisei. But in a way, Vertin is also a foreigner because he used to live in his mountain and he clearly is not used to being in this city. This is a fact that, as an observer of the entire scene, Yenisei cannot deny.
They will only see me as a greater threat if I insist on raising doubts about her. They have known her for a long time, but know nothing about me. My words have no greater effect than yours, for I'm also a foreigner here.
Well, there you go. His voice is light, but as gloomy as the night.
Still, you're going to just give it all up before exhausting every possible way to end this?
A wave of swaying tree shadows causes Vertin to fly up on alert. He seems to finally have made up his mind to leave.
You need not prick my pride. Getians and Miemengs are never meant to get involved in this.
Before a response is issued, the sound of rhythmic footsteps sounds one after another. Whether it is the patrol or some other city personnel, it is enough to immediately alert the vigilant trio. Vertin, though, does not leave. His actions are seemingly not in line with his own tongue.
There are people coming. I knew it.
A bold and imposing voice sounds out from the spot the footsteps had been moving toward.
You two are in it together. The merchant identity was only an excuse you made up to enter the city. Isn't that so?
No, please listen to me.
Well, he can certainly jump to conclusion very quickly.
The stories you told Li Jung made no sense at all. How dare you come back like you did nothing and break into the jail?
Wait, what? We didn't break into the jail. Oh, it's because Vertin is with us.
Mr. Getian!
Besmert intuits that she shouldn't just run away. At that moment, the only one who can help her confirm her assumption is Vertin. The one being sought for help does not make a sound. He dives from the tree, spreading his wings to cast an immense shadow over the scene. He flies between the patrol and Besmert, turning his back to them, then spreads his wings even wider until they completely block the view of those behind him. At this moment, he truly seems like a bird of prey.
Lushus are fleet-footed creatures. Get on her back and leave. I'll join you shortly. Go!
Don't you run! Catch them!
Yeah, of course. Why do people always jump to conclusion and not wait to get more information? Although again, it's not like it really matters. I'll buff you,
Yes,
you,
I know.
and attack you.
We walk in long nights.
Hopefully I can kill them fast and get her ultimate ability.
You still don't recognize me?
Oh wow, he's already almost dead. I didn't think that would be the case. Well,
Yes, I know.
let's try to actually murder them all.
Hey, hey, hey!
I think this will do the trick. Yep.
Time for
There we go. Oh, there were two more. I guess I'll buff you, I'll debuff you, I'll buff you, and honestly it's probably overkill. I mean, her ultimate would be enough to kill them all. That is why I was trying to get it as fast as I could. Oh well.
Now, to divide the spoils, or should I say...
Thanks to Gertian's cover, the two successfully run from the neighborhood and arrive at the shallow shore on the city outskirts, where Yenisei has now stopped twice before. At this moment, the night seems to have become even darker, without a single star to light the sky, and only faint moonlight trails scattered across the riverbank.
It's been quite a while. Is he?
Yenisei cannot help but think of Gertian's experience and at the Jesse that same morning.
Have faith in him, child. He is able to defend himself, since he managed to escape without others' help. I believe he is not aggressive. He left his wand behind when he tried to save you.
A long period of waiting, pregnant with anxiety, is finally broken by the sound of flapping wings.
Madam!
So he comes back. Gertian crosses over them and stops along the twisted vines, folding his wings and tightly gripping the edges of the tree with his talons. The garment on his head must have split during this fight, and now fully reveals his previously covered expression, one both baffled and tense.
You're here. You seem fine. Do you still intend to leave? Or have you changed your mind?
Besmet follows the sound of movement, turning her head toward where Gertian landed.
No, I'm here for one last thing. When I was imprisoned in Zhici, I heard that Jiu Nyangzi would hold a banquet at the tavern tonight, and the Fa Cao was also invited. I'll take the opportunity and get those half-lushus out of there.
Please wait a second, sir.
Yes?
We're not going anywhere. We must release them from the arcane skill and bring them back.
If you don't flee tonight, I'm afraid there will be no better chance for you to leave. Though her true intention is beyond my speculation, I fear the consequences of her action will be severe.
You know full well the consequences.
Certainly.
But you won't help us stop her.
That is not my problem to address. I have done my part.
Then why did you help us get rid of the soldiers and offered to help again?
This question surprises Gertian. He had never thought about it until that moment. He lifts his wings, forming a posture similar to cupping his face, sinking into contemplation. After a moment, he conjures up an explanation.
It doesn't suggest my further involvement in this matter.
You are contradicting your own words, sir.
Gertian lowers his head and looks towards the drying earth near the embankment, out across the river's calm surface.
Very well. I'll put it differently. Look at the street. It is empty tonight.
Yes?
There was a time when people sent lanterns down the river on New Year's Eve. Even the simplest lantern would glow like the moon on the water. Those lanterns, carrying people's wishes, floated down the river. The further they went, the more wishes were granted. Some would cast arcane skills on their lanterns to keep them from getting wet. But most of the lanterns still disappeared in the depths of the mountains or at the waterfalls.
And what are you getting at with this?
I used to look down at the city from the mountaintop, watching those lanterns float down the streams and merge into a light belt in the dark. They were more brilliant and vibrant than the bonfires that were lit up all night in this city.
The Lusha follows Gertian's gaze and looks towards the river, only to see the bare and narrowing river looking more and more like a stream in her eyes. This sad reality of the present makes it difficult to imagine the scene described in Gertian's words, despite the nostalgia overflowing from his tone. Basford feels it too, but the safety of her companions remains a constant concern in her mind.
I'm sorry. I don't understand what you mean. Time is against us.
Now the river has dried up, and the water no longer has vitality. Rainfall is getting scarce, accelerating the dying process. What was given does not compensate for what was lost, so people no longer show up by the river and send their wishes at night. And I have lost my opportunity to watch the light melt. Even so, to this day, I haven't fully understood why I was impelled to leave the mountain. I once thought I couldn't bear the sight of those humans being turned into other creatures.
And now you think it's no longer worth the effort to put things back in order?
Yes. You people are no more than passengers in my life, drifting past me like those lanterns in the river.
That's kind of a sad way of saying things.
What's more, what is my purpose here if the gods of Sheti they serve don't intend to intervene?
Gertian's words are so full of perplexity that they are almost painful. He poses questions like cutting meat to feed a tiger, knowing that there will be no reward after throwing them out. But still, he insists. Yenisei, who has been silent on one side for a long time, seems to understand his feelings, and so she continues to remain silent, only looking at the pitch-black surface of the river. The river too looks back with its own quieting babble.
The lights in the river are gone, and there will be no more in the future.
Yenisei gazes at her reflection of Lo Shi. It isn't until Gertian says there will be no more that she suddenly lifts her hooves and steps into the silent water.
What is she doing?
Of course, Basmet can also hear the sound of her entering the water, but she only shakes her head. She knows what the girl is going to do. The moment has arrived for her to offer her assistance.
Even shallow water could also be dangerous. She...
Trust her. She knows what she's doing.
The water begins to engulf half of Yenisei's body. At the same time, her song begins.
What is this?
Colorful dots of light suddenly ignited in the narrow river in front of them, burning like intense flame along the water's surface. Then the dots of light meandered to the soft riverbank, drifting with the song, like travelers on the long river, journeying without end. The place where the light passes through now shines brighter than all the decorations in the city streets, more than many years' worth of river lanterns that had passed through the mountain.
There are river lanterns. Yes? I can't see them, but I can feel the light. Are you appreciating them with your own eyes?
I don't.
Faced with such a scene, Gertian is struck dumb. He can sense Yenisei's arcanist origins in her bones, but he cannot even begin to imagine what is happening at this moment.
Mr. Gertian, the fact is, you've seen too many people and grown attached to too many things since you left the mountain. They float in your mind, glistening like the river lanterns, and you're saddened by the idea that they will be gone one day, like the lanterns drifting away from your sight.
Oh, so basically, he used to be a recluse, but then came out of his reclusiveness, I'll call it that, and now he's changed, but he doesn't realize that he has changed.
But have you thought that those bright, agile and hope-rising flakes of light would gleam once again? The path of destiny is not always a dead end. It's too soon to give up, Mr. Getienne. Here. It is your wand. Put it away, and please give this another thought.
To be continued. Stage 18, New Year's Eve. In the tavern courtyard at night, the sky is still gloomy with the promise of rain yet to fall, and mist shrouds the heads of all present. But the festive atmosphere of the banquet seems unaffected, and the damp mist is easily dispersed by the clamor and high spirits.
Oh, 九娘子, you are welcoming us at the door this year.
Because Li Zheng said... Oh, welcome guys! You're all here!
What's going on? You seem absent-minded. Here, 竹叶 flower seeds. I know this is the only flower you would use to make liquor. And here are 2 festoons with auspicious deer patterns. Not a fancy kind, but I made the pattern myself. Put it on the wall if you want. It will look as lovely as the horse paper cutouts you gave me last year.
Oh dear, this is too much. I'll hang them up right away. Thank you so much.
Oh, don't worry. To be honest, I didn't see that you would be welcoming us at the door. I thought I could sneak in and empty the jars before you showed up.
Both had intended to spend the festival at home, but now they gather here at the generous invitation of Jiu Nongxie. The golden colors of the courtyard displayed for all to see, punctuated by the delicacies and fine liquor on offer. Almost every corner is filled with people who scatter about like sand in the desert, with status and age set aside and all notions of formality cast to the wind.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Huh?
Everyone is here.
I'm not sure about that. I haven't counted them up yet.
That might be Fa Cao. His family is here, without him.
Is he still patrolling? This late? Is he still looking for the foreign ladies?
Perhaps. But it is not polite to keep other guests waiting.
I see. Then let's start the party first. I'll save him his liquor.
All right, everyone. The hostess has a toast to make. Please pay attention.
Thank you.
Jiu Nongxie stands up above the crowd, hoping that everyone can see her. Although her mind begins blank, some heartfelt words bubble up, brought to the fore by the encouraging gazes below.
Everyone here knows that I can't read and can't say some sweet words like toasting.
Just say whatever you want.
Don't interrupt her, you imbecile. Oh, all right. Well, where was I?
A toast.
Right, a toast. But I can't do it myself, so I copied a line from the book at the place where I work now. I like how it sounds. I bid thee all to drink and be merry. Do not stay thy hand from thine cup. Hope I didn't pronounce it wrong. It means people should drink and drink more, so you shouldn't say no to it.
Is that so?
Well, whatever. Anyhow.
Without waiting for everyone present to react, she looks up and drinks her bowl dry in a single gulp. Her bowl is now slightly tilted, indicating that it has been emptied. Jiu Nongxie's gaze glides over each face, one by one, and finally she laughs with glee.
Bottoms up and fill your cups. Cheers!
Cheers. Soon, the cries of cheers begins to echo through the courtyard, one after another, rising wave by wave until even the festoons on the eaves are shaking.
Cheers! You've always been nice and warm to me since I came here. I can't do anything in return but host this feast. Hope you enjoy the liquor and the dinner. I wish you a peaceful New Year's Eve. May all of your wishes come true in the coming 朔日. Li Zheng, do you have anything else to say?
A peaceful New Year's Eve would be enough.
Peaceful New Year's Eve.
Peaceful New Year's Eve.
Peaceful New Year's Eve.
Li Zheng sits among them, like a kindly old man from their neighborhood, rather than an imposing governor. The crowd loosens up once again shortly after he finishes speaking, the sound of clicking cups and tapping chopsticks continuing to rise and fall.
You did a good job with the toast, Zhoujiangzi. Looks like you've learned something from those love poems. You must have read them unconsciously after you stuck them on the wall. Oh please, that custom is no longer popular in our neighborhood. I'd rather transfer the poem onto a kerchief and make a purse out of it, just like Jiunyangzi did. It draws so much attention on the street.
Actually, I still can't read what they write on the purse, but the characters seem beautiful.
What about the one you recited during the toast? You sounded really fluent. Who taught that to you?
Oh, that's from the former Zhili, the one who went back to our hometown. She taught me that.
Speaking of her, is she going to come back?
I didn't know any better, but by now, she should be at home, having New Year's Eve dinner.
Did you hear from her? If she doesn't come back, you will have to work as the official Zhili. Who will take care of the tavern by then? The tavern has never had a reliable owner before you. It would have still been run down if you hadn't taken over it.
Jiunyangzi is kind and warm-hearted. Such a girl of integrity can perform well in both running a tavern and being a Zhili.
You have high regard for her, Li Zhen. Are you telling the truth or showing partiality?
The truth, of course. What she said in the Jersey a few hours ago is still vivid in my mind. I once again realized that it's never too late to learn.
No. I'm not as good as you say.
What did she say?
Things like, one can remove the footsteps, but not the path one walketh on. Act not against the nature of thy flesh, for through it all things were made. She made it sound easy.
The crowd erupts in a series of alarmed cries.
Really?
Absolutely. She is indeed illiterate, but she keeps learning and interprets the classic sayings in her own way.
If she is indeed illiterate, it's really amazing that she can keep learning like this.
Even if there were other scholars, they would be convinced by her powerful speech. Sadly, the one she confronted was not a human, but a Yao.
Confronted a Yao in a Zhici? Was that the Featherman?
She thought the Featherman was Xiangrui and asked him some questions.
You actually asked him questions? He could have turned you into another striped horse.
I didn't think of that back then. This is the first time I've ever been so close to a Yao. He looks so similar to the ones in the books, so I...
Jiunyangzi, where are you?
Oh, he sounds, angry, maybe? The rapid sound of footsteps approaches, and their leader's figure steps into the tavern in several broad and forceful steps. The abrupt sound severs the excitement in the courtyard.
What? What happened?
What is...
Where is Jiunyangzi?
Here! I'm here! What's happening?
Turns out those foreign ladies have been in league with Gu Tian the whole time. They
Oh,
helped him break
seriously?
out of jail and hid themselves in the wild with their arcane skills. I'm sure it will rain again soon, and it will be dangerous to stay in the wild. By then, they will come to you, because you are the Featherman's target.
In the courtyard, the crowd's gaze follows Fa Cao closely, while Fa Cao's own eyes are fixed on Zhu Nyangzhi. They realize now that some word of resistance is on her tongue.
What? Zhu Nyangzhi, you must leave here. You can't stay in the tavern.
So first off, Fa Cao actually jumps to conclusions, and then he spread his false conclusions to others. Spreading misinformation, just like in this day and age. Something that seems to be intemporal.
But it's my tavern. Why am I leaving my own place?
You are in danger. Since Guo Tian was able to break out of jail, he will for sure be able to break into the Jutsu. For your safety, I will have my soldiers escort you to the government office. That's the only safe place now.
No, I'm not leaving. He is neither a Xiangrui nor a strong Yao. Why are we afraid of him?
The sound of wings cutting through the air overlaps the end of Zhu Nyangzhi's question. The new arrival spreads his wings, like a dark cloud blanketing the courtyard's colorful decorations and dazzling lights.
Watch out!
She's right.
You need not fear me. This Lady Honor of the tavern is the bigger concern here.
Formation 1!
Yeah, of course he's not gonna listen. The well-trained guards surround the tavern, and the sound of running, trampling feet echoes through the courtyard.
I knew you would come for her. Where are your accomplices? Are you the vanguard of the team?
Zhu Nyangzi, it's not too late for you to stop. No more turning people into a Lushu. Too many people have gone missing because of you.
This information, unknown present, hits like a stone cast into water. Questions and whispers begin to circulate through the crowd like ripples in a pond.
Turn people into a Lushu? But the wanted poster says those are striped horses.
What is he talking about?
Zhu Nyangzhi looks up into the air and stares straight at the looming figure of Gertian above her.
What are you talking about? You know nothing about Lushus. Besides, what do I have to do with the missing people?
He's talking nonsense, right, Zhu Nyangzi?
Save the talk. Catch him first.
And so we fight, I guess. Oh, never mind, it is to be continued, so the fight is not now. Perhaps it will be in the next one. Oh, never mind again. It is indeed here.
Can I start running?
Well, let's use the same good old tactics.
Moment of
Debuff,
silence.
and...
Another jar?
We walk in long nights. Learn from silence.
You don't want to miss it. Got you.
Oh wow, she deals a lot of damage. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that this is going to kill.
Another jar?
Thank you for your cooperation.
This is even overkill.
There they are.
Yep.
I remember it's called lending a hand.
Stage 19, a wish come true. The uninvited guest is not willing to attack, even in his own defense, so a one-sided battle ensues. It is only natural that the side resigned to only evading will eventually lose.
Surrender, and dispel your arcane skill. Turn the victims back to who they were.
At this moment, Basmet and Yenisei rushes to the edge of the encirclement. The communication arcane skill that Gertian cast on them earlier is quietly translating the words for people.
We will put an end to it before the Shuozhu.
But I don't possess the power to transform people from one shape to another, and thus cannot turn them back. You're asking the wrong one.
Gertian struggles to hold on and rests on the eaves, still looking directly at Junyang-je with some hidden meaning. But Junyang-je shows no hint of understanding, simply looking back with a placid anger. Her look is so forceful that it is almost a glare.
Why do you have to blame this on me? I've never met those missing people, and I have no idea what you're talking about. Is this because... Did you have a grudge against me or something?
Nothing of that sort. I'm here only to prevent an unwanted escalation. I could have just walked away, and there's nothing you can do. I could have gone to other mountains, and life would have continued as it has always been. But for those who have been turned into half-Lushus, no one can get them out of this trouble.
Junyang-je stands stunned before him. After a moment, she struggles out an accusatory remark, but her voice trembles slightly.
Been turned into half-Lushus? Are you saying that the animals in my backyard and those in the Jitsu, are they all the missing people? But I thought they were just Lushus. The first time I saw them, it was clear that we were alike. We're just some half-divine beasts.
So she did admit that she was herself a half-divine beast. The crowd is thrown into a commotion. She turns a deaf ear to them and once again stares blankly at Gertian.
So they must not be humans. I've done nothing to transform them. I'm just taking good care of them so that they can tell me where they're from, and if they can, take me home.
Interesting. Her trembling words usher in a silence. Gertian, who knows she has already begun to waver, can only sigh. It seems he's starting to see the whole picture for what it is.
The Niuyang Mountain shelters the beasts. The beasts have white heads, red tails, the bodies of horses, and the markings of tigers. When they neigh, the sound becomes music. The name is Lushu. The striped horses you keep in the yard are half Lushus. They look like what's told in the tales, and they cry like humming songs in the moonlight. And the wooden dolls infuse your arcane skill, the shape of will, into the liquor, which turns people into Lushus or half-Lushu. As for the dolls, they were once soaked in the water of Peiling River. Were they not?
The stream runs through the backyard. No. No way. They went there just for fun, or a bath. They should not...
Beyond the encirclement formed by patrolling troops, Basmet judges the course of events through the sound of people's voices. Junyang-ji falls silent. The seeds of suspicion have been planted, and it is now time for witnesses to take the stand. Hidden in the crowd, Yenisei crashes into the soldiers on both sides of her. Sharp swords and spears brush over her Lushu skin, but she seems completely unfazed, charging straight toward the direction of the water jar.
What? Who let it in? Catch it!
The water leaking from the jar creates puddles in the crevices of the courtyard. Although it isn't much, it is still enough to buy some time.
Wait!
It's you!
It is her indeed. Li Zheng immediately looks up at Gertian as though wishing to catch a glimpse of the arcane skill cast from his still figure, only to find nothing there.
The markings of a tiger and a red mane. Exactly what the Featherman said. But its reflection is a woman?
A gasp sounds out from the crowd.
Oh my, the reflection. Is that the foreign lady from the street earlier?
Yeah, it's cool that she actually recognizes me. Well, me. Yenisei. Junyang also casts a bewildered gaze toward Yenisei.
You are a Lushu. You're a real Lushu now. This is what a Lushu should be. But why are you still here?
Maybe because she doesn't want to be a Lushu?
I don't see what you mean, Miss Chumangse.
Oh, you're hurt. And you shouldn't be here. It's not right.
She lightly taps the pool of water with her hand, as if soothing the invisible reflection of herself.
I thought you were able to recognize your teammates and had already left here.
Wait, what? Oshamon, I get it.
Even Yenisei's reflection in the water ripples in response to this sudden realization.
Chumangse, you turned me into a Lushu because you thought that would help me find my teammates, didn't you? Last night, you said you would help me, so this is how you... But I was not asking for help. I was only being emotional, or pouring out my troubles. Anyway, I was not asking for anything from you. From the talk, I could feel the sincerity from the bottom of your heart. It was too real to be fake. I understand you were trying to help, and that was enough.
But I don't understand. The Taoist said, the one who can protect and benefit the people shall be a Xiangrui. If you can, but you don't, that would be wrong. I've done a terrible job. I'm not that majestic, nor do I look like any Xiangruis in the book. I can't even turn into a real Lushu. How is that enough?
She shakes her head and takes 2 steps back, until she can retreat no longer and collides with a motionless patrol guard.
Jiu Nyangzi, I think you need to tell us everything.
Lei Zhang, who has been standing nearby, now speaks, his tone intensifying as he goes on.
Have you ever transformed people into Lushus?
Jianyang turns her head, only to find that everyone's gaze has now shifted toward her, needling her with probing eyes.
Answer us!
I swear that I was trying to help everyone get what they want, just like the former Jili. She wanted to go back to her hometown, so I offered her a drink and sent her back.
How is transforming everyone into horses, striped horses, or Lushu, help anyone? How does it help?
Junyangzi, do you understand what you are saying?
I understand every word I say.
I think she does not, but her reaction says more than any confession. Every sentence is a declaration. Every sentence is an interrogation.
Jiu Nyangzi, what have you done?
You should have asked this a lot earlier.
What did you do to the Jili?
With Li Zheng, who had always trusted her, turning on her in anger, Jianyang's reaction is to grab her own arm tightly, as if for protection. She wants to step back again, to keep herself away from the intense emotion, but there is nowhere left for her to go. All she can do now is answer.
She came to my tavern and complained that you didn't understand her at all, and that she was considering going back to her hometown, but it seemed far away from Pei City. She looked sad and tired and didn't know what to do.
So you?
I must grant her wish. Mustn't I? The Taoist said a Lushu can easily go 1,000 miles within a day. If they start running, go faster, that will be over 10,000 miles. If that's how I can help her, I should definitely do that.
You.
Jun Youngzhe lowers her eyes, trying to find more suitable words for her confession, but in the end, only a knot of confused sadness fills her throat.
Just like now. If the Peiling River dries out, you have nowhere to go. Just turn into Lushus, and then you won't suffer. Lushus can go anywhere they want. To the north, to the south, wherever they want. I can grant your wish differently, even if I can't recover the river from drought. I was thinking, going away freely might be a good choice. But in the end, what I'm doing is wrong?
For a moment, almost everyone is at a loss for how to deal with this revelation. Every sentence seems to them to be absurdly wrong, but the tone with which she speaks is completely sincere. Yet no matter what explanation she might offer, it only reveals that the true culprit of the disappearances was in fact Jun Youngzhe herself.
You.
No one familiar with Jun Youngzhe anticipated this moment. That on the eve of the festival, a time of joy and reunion, they had to come to grips with a colossal disaster caused by such a simple act of childishness.
But if not by doing this, then what else can I do?
This matter is too chilling and heartbreaking for an early spring night. She just wanted to try and help. Definitely didn't do it the right way, but oh well. Yenisei, who has remained silent for a long time, takes a step forward.
Junangse, remember what you said to me last night? Liquor has many different names, but they're still liquor. You can put on many different clothes, but you will still be the same Junangse. Likewise, whether you turn me into a horse, a donkey, or a lushu, I will still be the same Yenisei. You don't have to force yourself to become the people's Zhangrei. I think it's only an unreachable symbol. What matters is that the Junangse I know would do whatever she could to help others. That's just what the Zhangrei does, as far as I know. Even though some results turned out to be not so satisfying, your sincerity is as valuable as the Zhangrei itself. So now, you just need to turn us all back.
Yes. So turn back, where no path lies before you. It's never too late to return.
Seeing Le Zhang, who has been silent for a while now, nodding, Jun Youngzhe's worried expression begins to stifle a few beams of hope.
I will do my best.
Jun Youngzhe turns around and whistles. Immediately after, the sound of wooden footsteps follows and gradually echoes around the courtyard. They circle in and silently bump around her.
Alright, you can talk now. It's okay. What?
These handicrafts are able to talk.
And apparently they are not doing exactly what she wants them to do.
How could you be manipulated by them, Junangzi?
No, you're getting it wrong. Don't save me. Li-Zheng, I'm not manipulated. They're just wood. Well, they're indeed my friends. No, that's not for now. They just talk like that. That's not what they mean.
The elder's patient teeters now on the verge of exhaustion, yet his responsibilities force him to stay calm and wait patiently for the end of this farce.
This shall be the last time I put my trust in you. Ask them how to transform people back. But if you can't...
Yunyongzhe knows that there can be no can't allowed at this juncture. She turns her head to look at the patrolmen surrounding the entire courtyard, and the locals with their fearful faces. Finally, she shakes her head to clear her mind of any unnecessary emotions and focuses on just one thing.
You heard him. Now, please tell me how to turn them back into humans, will you? If it requires liquor, I'll get it for you.
Wait, no way. No turning back.
Well, that is problematic.
The white hair, Taoist, yellow drawing on forehead. You forgot.
The Taoist? I didn't forget anything. And I see. You must be messing with me because I treated you badly this morning. This is your revenge, right? It's not the time for it. I really need you to...
No way.
No, there must be a way. I must be able to dispel my own craft.
At the end of her somewhat lackluster speech, her voice weakens to a whimper, an acknowledgement that there is no way out.
You must come to the jutsu with me, Yunyongzhe. We'll see what we can do.
He signals to the patrol soldiers to come forward and take her away. At this moment, Yunyongzhe no longer seems willing to cooperate and instead takes another step back.
I'm sorry, but I must fix it. I can fix it. This is all because of me. I need to...
She makes a ritual gesture, attempting one final desperate act of self-salvation.
I will think carefully. Think of what I did before. I can do it. I can do it without them.
No! Hurry! Writhing pain!
No shit, what's going on? A dim light emanates from her forehead, like moonlight or the silver stripes on the Lushu's skin in the dead of night. The sound of more wooden dolls leaping wildly rings out. They emerge from various corners of the courtyard, breaking through the encirclement of patrol soldiers and locals with unexpected force, heading straight towards Yunyongzhe. The miniature wooden creations begin to grow rapidly in a twisted transformation before Yunyongzhe, who is now overwhelmed by a sudden burst of pain. They shift from a human form into strange, enormous beasts. To this point, everything has proceeded almost exactly like the prophecy.
Me? Is everyone else dead?
Hopefully not. Medicine pocket.
Duty lies with these.
Okay, so we have to fight these two things.
Why is it hurting so much? The Taoist has never told me. My head. Can I gouge this drawing out and give it back to him? No, don't. I am fine. I'm sorry. So please don't. No. What's happening? You... people? Where are you? Why are the lights out? I can't see anything. I can't feel my hands or my body. What on earth is happening?
What indeed? I do feel like the volume of the music is a bit too loud compared to the volume of the dialogue. Unfortunately, I cannot do anything at this moment. Oh, and shoot, he's there. I didn't anticipate that. Oh well. I guess no, we'll start with you.
Wear gloves.
The moment of utterance, the moment of silence.
It's newly made this year.
Get out of here.
until the torch is lit. Learn from silence.
You don't want to miss it.
Oh, I should have read what they actually do.
The crimson red manifests fire, and the cyan stands for wind and thunder. The latter does not belong to the 5 elements, so it is our chance to break the ritual.
Sir, if you notice anything, please instruct us.
The southeast will be the weak spot of the cyan-colored wooden creature.
What southeast? Please make it clearer to us. We're running out of time.
Facing the south and seeing the moon rise to the sun's east, one may find a position of cover. I see the fire appears along, so the ritual has a flaw. Is this? Careful. It is performing some kind of ritual, but we are getting too close. I need a full view of it.
What are you doing? You can't just...
I sense danger. Jonanzi, stop the dolls immediately if you still have senses.
I can't. What? Stop who, you said? My wooden dolls will never hurt anyone. Just like me.
And why couldn't we see her in her portrait? That was strange. Honestly, striking them facing the south, I have no idea what this means. Oh, they're both immune to control.
A moment of utterance.
Another jar? It's newly made this year.
Benefit from reading.
Got you. Enjoy!
Yeah, so far we're fine.
There they are.
Sterilize.
Merci.
Another jar?
Get out of here.
Let's get it over quick.
Nice toes. Wear gloves.
It's newly made this year.
Follow the will of God.
And I am hesitating. Do I heal or not? No need.
Oh, hi.
There they are.
His trumpets sound.
Doesn't die.
The judgment day has come.
I should have used the other skill on mine. Yeah. Although I guess I can use it now. That way he can get more moxie. Let's see. We can do this. And then attack you.
I'm ready.
Attack you. And maybe we can actually finish you? Who knows?
Never
We'll
hesitate.
see.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry.
Go! 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 Puppies!
I'll fill the cup for you.
She's really cute. This is my first time actually seeing her out. Wow, 26k. Not bad. Oh, it is going to use its ultimate. Very well. In that case,
Follow the will of God.
Another jar?
I will heal and protect ourselves because medicine pocket can reduce the incoming damage if I don't kill with this. Which I doubt I will, maybe?
Judgment
No,
day has come.
doesn't seem so. Almost though. I think I might kill with her actual follow-up attack. Maybe. Oh, she didn't use any follow-up attacks. Interesting. Well, I guess I can just do that. And,
Merci, brave. Merci.
The fast attack should kill it. It's still a 10k attack, that's really not bad.
The dolls are no longer moving, are they? I heard no noise.
I think we broke the dolls. And she's crying, look at her.
They aren't. No more dolls or rituals. It's over. Let your Nancy. Wake up, Joanne.
I heard something. They didn't say goodbye and they left you, right? Yeah, right. Like always.
Aww. Wait. Did one of my characters die? Junyangzhe sits slumped in the debris of the wooden doll smashed through everyone's joint efforts. The pain fading from her face leaves only a desperate look of despair. She holds the fragments of wood, helpless, as though she were that weak and panicked girl in the bustling marketplace once more.
Seems what they said is true. I can't do it. I just want everything to be back to normal. Is that too much?
No, it isn't, my dear. It isn't.
There should have been ways to undo it. But now, even I am confounded. Your pain is real. Then...
Besides the broken water jar, Yenisei looks towards Besmet, who seems to feel something and gently breaks free from the stupefied patrol of soldiers. This static courtyard is like a frozen scene, and Besmet is the only actor walking freely on stage. Not being able to see the danger gives her an unworldly calm.
You said you can't do it. Not that you don't want to, right? The arcane skill with conditions cannot be taken back once it is cast, just like the irretrievable curses and vows in Siberian shamanism.
I can see some markings on this girl's skull, like an unknown seal. I've been speculating about what caused limitation of her power. This may be the reason why she's in pain. A seal powerful enough to change one's marking on the bones is not to be easily broken.
Skull?
Who would seal her powers, though? That is what I'm wondering. Junyangji raises her hand and touches her forehead. The yellow drawing upon it should have been swept away by this sudden movement, forming a colorful mark, or something else, but it doesn't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Her exploration bearing no fruit, Junyangzhe warily withdraws her hand and gives up her investigation.
I can't. I can turn them into Lushus, but not the opposite way. Maybe I can't be a Xiangrui at all. I'm not qualified.
My bad, I clicked too early. That was my bad. At this point, the story has entered an unsolvable impasse.
Alright. There's one more question that seems to be overlooked by us all. How many people have drunk Zhinengse's liquor in the merry festival spirit?
Oh shit, are they all going to turn into Lushus? To be continued, I guess we will learn about that later on. Stage 20. Farewell to the past. When the voice of this outsider fades, the fated hour also arrives. Those among the crowd who drank the liquor undergo a transformation amidst chaotic screams, as each and every one of them becomes a Lu Shi. As Junyangzhe watches the irreversible scene, she is unaware that tears are already flowing down her face. She has made no progress at all. Everything is no different now than it was a few years ago, when she was even more reckless and naive.
The Taoist told me that my mother was the 9th Lushu from the very beginning of time.
That sounds like it was a long time ago indeed.
Great, though distant. After all, except for the moment she turned from a human into a Yao when she was leaving, I don't quite remember her.
Oh, this is so cute.
Your mother was the Xiangrui, the people's guardian.
What is a Xiangrui?
The spirit of auspiciousness, the great Yao who protects and benefits people. Like your mother once did. But a Xiangrui is not supposed to have any personal feelings. She fell because of you. Because of the personal feeling. Remember that.
That's a horrible thing to say, to a child
What is a
especially.
personal feeling?
She just said she fell because of you. Way to guilt-trip the child.
It's something she shouldn't have had. For you, either.
And why are Xiangrui not supposed to have personal feelings? Like, is it some kind of thing like the Jedis are not supposed to have relationships? Look at where it led them.
But you shall keep to the path she left.
What path? Is it like the dirt path we're walking on? Or the stone path around the house?
Neither. Stay in this city. Be their guardian. Be a Xiangrui. You shall understand when the day comes.
The Taoist brought me here and left me here. That's exactly what my mother, the former Xiangrui, did to me as well. So I took departure as the price of living in the human world. Before I came to Pei City, the Taoist guaranteed me that, be a Xiangrui, and then you will understand her. How alluring was that? That's why I chose to stay here. At first, I couldn't stop thinking about what the Taoist said, but I had no idea how, because I was never taught how by anyone. I didn't have any other choice, so I started to recall my mother by piecing together the scattered words and descriptions from books and legends to recall what a Xiangrui is. I tried to be her, tried to replace her, just to meet her once again. If I got to meet her, I would ask her, what was on your mind? If only you could see me doing such a great job as a Xiangrui, would you feel even the slightest twinge of guilt? For deserting me, for leaving me alone? Well, looks like I've neither truly understood her, nor a Xiangrui.
Between the two people standing in the courtyard walkway in the silent rain, a decision is made.
Xunyangzi, are you really going to...
As someone who has always been steadfast in his will, he rarely hesitates. He doesn't know which words to use to emphasize the danger of this matter to the person in front of him, or whether all words are powerless before her final choice. And so, ultimately, he remains silent.
It's fine. I know there's no one who could jump over it. In order to stop me, Beizheng even told me some stories, and they were not very suitable for children. But I have to, because there's no other way. Only the divination. Well, you can't talk about Shuozhi without the divination, right? Thank you for letting me go. You even brought me the clothes. But the Julie is not here. I'm not sure if I'm wearing it right.
Oh, so these are the clothes of the Zhili, or at least clothes that go with the function.
But it's okay. Even if it's wrong, it still looks new and colorful.
She pats the hem of her skirt aimlessly, then folds the cuffs and finally folds back the silk drapes once more. When she cannot find anything else to fix, her farewell rises to the tip of her tongue.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I'm leaving. Then.
Junyoung-je steps back and places her hands beneath her forehead, palm to back. She bows farewell to Cao Cao in the hallway, and the Lu Shu turned from Li Zhang. A gesture of gratitude and an apology. She has never performed such a ritual before. This will be the first and last time.
Perhaps we will find another way. You don't have to.
He doesn't finish, because anything he wants to say would be untrue. An example of unwarranted comfort from a survivor toward their aggressor. And so, Junyoung-je says nothing. She shakes her head as if she hadn't even heard his proposal, retreating into the rain, and then turns around and walks towards the outside of the Zhisi. Her footsteps have never been so relaxed before, with each step becoming faster and faster, almost evolving into a sprint toward the end. She runs towards the outside of the city, but not to escape. Oh god, don't tell me she's gonna jump off the bridge. Yep, there we go, broken bridge outside the city. The rain has not stopped since the previous night. Outside the city, Esmet and Yenisei stand at the end of the broken bridge, gazing at the misty bank opposite to them. Vertin is perched on the tree above their heads. He has been here all along, arriving earlier than the others.
Mr. Vertin, we are left with only one option, which is to stand here and pray for her. Correct? Pray that the Arcan Acquire, or the divination, will answer us and give us what we want in a flash. But is it really possible?
I think not. We should go.
Oh wow, you gave up quickly. Esmet listens to the advancing footsteps around her, emanating from all those who are walking toward the broken bridge, still remembering the auspicious significance of this New Year's Day. At first, she tries to distinguish the voices that might be Cao Cao and the others, but as the rain grows heavier and louder, she finally gives up.
I heard today is a special day for the locals, known as Sui Jiao Chuan. Mr. Vertin, what is Sui Jiao Chuan?
Esmet holds her wet fringe to one side and tilts the oiled umbrella towards Yenisei. The Lu Shu silently approaches and leans against her tightly.
It comes from an ancient proverb. 百载难逢，岁朝春.
Please do not ask me to read that.
It's the first day of a new year, and the first day of spring. 立春, the beginning of spring, corresponds to the lower trigram of Kan, in the direction of Gen. It is the season of life, a time when the weather is clear and the young fills the air.
They are pleasing to the ears, but I don't know what to make of it when all these are put together.
立春 is one of the 24 solar terms. It signifies the beginning of spring. 岁朝春 is how people would call it when the first day of the Du Shuo festival and the first day of spring happen to be the same day. It is a once-in-a-century good sign.
Indeed. It's also the first day of a new year. I like the coincidence.
Well, hopefully this good sign means that everything's going to work out.
Do you still find it equally pleasing if your teammates are not coming back?
Then I will take them home as they are now and see what I can do. I know the words are hidden behind your silence, but this is the best option for now. After all, as you just said, prayers are not enough to bring them back.
They could, for a time.
But that's only what happened in the past. As you just said, good days only exist in our memories.
That was before the flood. The aftermath of that disaster lasted longer than I thought. I was so wrong to think it was over.
Basmet looks up. A drop of rain falls right into the fabric she uses to cover her eyes. Then more falls, and more, gradually wetting the entire weaved surface. She listens without intending any comment.
It all began with the unstoppable flood. At first, it was just a few unusual tides that no one noticed. Then, the flood came, followed by the destruction of the bridge. The temple on the mountain thus lost its connection to its pilgrims. The prayers were no longer answered. I do not understand what caused all these things. My people left the mountain to help with the situation, but they never came back. And now, even this river beneath us is gone, just like the Yuan Temple, forever lost in the fog.
Behind them, the city residents gradually approach and carve words of divination onto the wooden sticks in their hands, just as they had in previous years. They are prepared for the fact that there may not be an answer to their questions, but they know nothing of the reason why. Basmet feels the weight of the growing crowd. They gather and write in the rain, working tirelessly for a long time. Is it the eternal fate of humans and arcanists who act upon desires they know cannot be realized?
It's useless. The god won't hear us, nor will it see us.
Please know that I don't mean to offend you with this question.
Please.
Can't you take those people to the other end of the bridge?
Ah yes, that was a valid question.
If the condition of the divination is to go across the broken bridge.
Though we're both outsiders in this place, you are more naive than I am.
Huh?
How so?
One can only meet the condition by going over the bridge oneself.
Oh.
Even if the price is their life. You might think it's cruel, but what good would it do if people were easily given what they asked for, without paying a price?
Yeah, but what would be the point of getting something if you're just dying? Because at the end of the day, that means that you're not actually getting the thing.
Wouldn't it make other suffering a joke?
Fair enough. That is a fair point indeed. Gertian lowers his head to look at Basmet and the quiet Yenisei beside him, thinking that they, perhaps, do not believe his word. He rarely needs to say so much to others in such a short space of time, but since he has already started, he might as well finish.
You don't believe me?
I'm trying to understand.
It's all the same. I can take you to the other side of the bridge. But you must not be disappointed if it ends up fruitless.
Pardon?
I can take you there.
Why? Why the change of mind?
To prove his point, I guess.
Haven't I mentioned it before?
Mentioned what?
Your bones. Among all the others, you are the only one for whom I do not recognize the markings on your bones.
Interesting. To be continued. Stage 21. Another Way Out. This new discovery swiftly draws Basmet's attention away from the broken bridge.
What is that supposed to mean?
Judging from the fact that you have unreadable bones, you are certainly neither a Yao nor a human. A Grunkin? No.
What the fuck is a Grunkin?
Oh, I'm also an arcanist.
My instinct told me that I should flee to the end of the world the moment I saw you.
Well, that is kind of mean to say.
You did run away, along with my poor teammates, who were turned into Lushus.
I could not have imagined being around someone with unreadable bones. Turns out, it wasn't as strange as I thought it would be.
Not much difference, you mean? Like the people here believe that there's no difference between humans and arcanists, which makes me very surprised.
Based on the bones I've seen, they are different. It's just that.
Doesn't make a difference, right? We are the same when we desire something.
Basmet turns her face toward where the people are moving. She holds her face as if firmly staring at something, despite her lack of sight.
I wasn't questioning you or the temple when I asked you about flying to the other side. I wasn't even questioning the strange condition of this arcane skill.
What do you mean?
I was running out of options, I guess. It was just some futile effort I made when I realized this was a dead end. But I have no idea how it got to this point.
Basmet makes her decision. She lifts the oiled umbrella and sticks it between the branches above her head, walking out from beneath its cover, heading toward the people carving sticks in the rain. Yenisei does not stop either. She follows behind Basmet, just as she has been doing since their departure.
Where are you going?
I have questions to ask.
Even if there are no answers?
Yes. I think it is the same for all these people. They keep asking, even though they hear no answers.
Basmet walks forward, almost reaching the broken bridge, until Yenisei grabs her sleeve.
It's okay. I know what you're going to say.
Yenisei reveals her image in the rain. The surface of the water is slightly pattered by raindrops, and her face is rippled by their falling. Fortunately, her heart is no longer swaying like a reflection.
How are you going to do it? We don't have any wooden chips like that.
I will use my finger, mud, and water on the ground. You can ask too, whatever means you use.
What I want to know.
Basmet crouches down and pokes her index finger into the soft mud, writing a few Cyrillic letters, then others, and then still more. By the time she finishes writing the entire question, the first letters have already been eaten by the heavy rain, like seawater washing away etchings on the beach.
Child, what's your question? Say it if you like.
I think I will write it down.
How exactly are you going to write it down? You don't have fingers, you have hose. Yenisei doesn't believe that doing so will have any purpose, but she cannot refuse Basmet. As she gazes at her face in the pool of water, she once again activates her arcane skill and asks the question that has been waiting in her heart. The red-haired girl suddenly disappears from the pool of water in front of her. Instead, a line of Cyrillic letters composed of warm-colored dots appears on the clear water's surface. That is certainly one way of doing it. I unfortunately cannot read what is written. The girl looks at the water and realizes the line of words doesn't even need to be fully legible. Rain pounds and waves rise. The water trembles with her question. Where is my water? The sudden emergence of more animal footsteps prevents Yenisei from becoming lost in deeper thoughts. The red-haired girl reappears in the water, her tone as unsparing as usual.
Are they still going to carry out the fortune walk?
Yenisei turns around. These animals, neither Lushers nor striped horses, have left the city's unattended Jesse and coincidentally arrived here. They are stood there naked and tied, unadorned in any festive decorations. The ribbons and flowers Yenisei had seen on that first day in the bustling market have disappeared, not suitable for the present situation after all.
They are carrying wooden chips in their mouths.
They're all here, right?
Yes, with the wooden chips. They are here for the divination, but the chips are empty.
They will have to ask in their minds.
What would you like me to do?
You can be their mouths, hands, and eyes. You can also do nothing, just like the good sir waiting behind us.
Vertin remains in the tree and thus sees everything. His wings have become damp and heavy from the rain, and the cloth on his head is soaked, pressing down heavily as if dragging him back down to the ground, back into the mud, back to the place where the world began. He does not move, silently taking stock of everything that happened under that tree.
I see. If they are here for the divination, I will help.
There are many puddles in the uneven ground. After a brief flicker of light, faces begin to appear in the water. They fade again one by one, forming in long or short sentences. Though Yenisei cannot understand them, this is all she can do. She continues to look for a while, then forces herself to turn around and search for Basmet.
Madam, after we go back...
Basmet smiles, shakes her head gently, and halts the girl's words. Basmet turns around, seeming to be facing Gertian's direction, back to the city gates from which everyone came. She can sense a steady stream of energy flowing toward the same destination.
You're wrong. It can hear us.
Gertian is in the tree, shaking off his wings like a swallow, shaking off the reasons for making him feel so excessively damp. He knows that Basmet must not be talking to him, as the blind arcanist continues to work in vain. But then, he is wrong yet again.
Who is that?
The sound everyone present can hear becomes louder and louder against the breaking silence, accompanied now by nothing but the patter of the rain. All they see is a red dress swiftly passing. It is Jun Young-je. Why is she holding something in her mouth? But I love her hair being detached like that. Untied, I should say. She reminds me of Nezuko with her bamboo thingy in her mouth all the time. Oh wow, that is a really long scroll. Wait, did she turn into a Lushul herself? How did she do that? I thought she couldn't. But perhaps that way she can actually jump over the broken bridge. Both those familiar and unfamiliar with her quickly realize her identity despite the change. Why did she do it? Did she really jump over the broken bridge? What could possibly have happened to her after doing so? A myriad of questions hovers in their minds of the confounded witness.
It was her. The noise I heard. It was Jianning Se. It was an unusual disturbance when she jumped over the bridge.
That was 九娘子. Mr. Liu, did you see that?
Yes, that's her. That's really her. High heaven, she did it. She jumped over.
In shock, someone hurriedly pokes their head toward the opposite bank of the broken bridge, but stops and withdraws at the cliff's edge. They are seeking a definite answer but fear the steepness and height of the cliff. Naturally, they never imagined someone might cross it.
That...
That's right. It's Junang Se. I saw her turn into a Lushu. Madam, she turned into a real Lushu.
Congratulations, I guess.
The people are back. In the river.
The river?
The Pele River is rising!
Beneath the cliff no longer lies a canyon or a low river, but a constantly rising torrent.
I can talk. My body's... What's happening?
The people finally react. They look at each other excitedly, a red light illuminating their face like the dazzling courtyard fires beneath the festival walkways, or the strip of light that appeared on the river before. Their divine wishes were granted.
Wait, my body is back?
Congratulations to you as well. Yenisei almost leaps into the air to embrace Death Note.
Junang Se, she jumped over the bridge. She jumped over, in the human form. She didn't fall. I'm not sure if I saw it clearly. I think for an instant, she turned into a real Lushu. Is this the power of the divination? The magic of Ask and the Choir? Oh wait, the people in the city have come back. So maybe...
A voice now long unheard also sounds from beside them.
What the...
Oh, they came back as well. I suppose that was the objective, but I have to admit I did not miss them.
What's going on? Oh, my head hurts.
Mr. Krulik!
In the crowd, all the companions they once had lost are now returned to them.
Oh dear. I had the strangest dream.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a dream, my friend.
And Mr. Urian! Everyone! They are over there! Madam, let's go see them!
Without waiting for an answer, Yenisei waves from a distance and immediately runs towards them.
We are here!
Bai Sai Nan Feng Sai Jiao Chun. It's indeed a rare occasion.
So it all worked out, eh? To be continued. Stage 22. Ask and Acquire. Straight inside the city.
Previously, we were at...
陆蛇, the Xiangrui came to the human world to go through the God's test, but she repented.
Exactly. She had been troubled by the repentance until the New Year's Eve. That night, her tutor straightened her out, and she was very grateful. After that, she bid him goodbye and went to the broken bridge alone. However, ladies and gentlemen, the Shoru this year happened to be the beginning of spring.
Such a coincidence happens only once every 100 years. On this particular day, the thunderstorm was raging, and all the strangest things happened. The cliff was shrouded in confusing fog, and below was a bottomless abyss. No one had ever jumped over the bridge successfully. Yet, the Lu Shu decided to make an attempt for the sake of the people who believed in her. She was determined to retrieve the tortoiseshell divination.
That's not it. She used the wooden trap, not the tortoise shell.
You've told this story for many times and still getting it wrong? You have to admit you're not young anymore.
Oh, it's a question of age. Because I was like, yeah, he's not a very good storyteller if he doesn't even know the story.
Well, there's no such thing as a perfect story. Adaptations are always allowed, right? Please, pretend you didn't hear me and forget about it.
Give me a break. He's telling that story again? I thought he'd be done with it after last time. I even bought a ticket.
Last time? When? Last year? Did you sleep for a whole year?
I hear you, gentleman in blue.
Now he's listening.
You know, you are part of the story. Just like me.
Me? What do you mean?
Listen and you'll know. So, the Lu Shu jumped over the bridge, awakened the Yuan Temple, and revived the Pei Lin River. As a result, more and more people come to the Pei City at festivals. So I start telling stories again. As for you, the Lu Shu took over your tavern and turned you into her kind because you were an unscrupulous profiteer. You gave short weight to the people. That caused the decline of your business. Yet, you blamed it on the poor harvest. But I think the Lu Shu saved you from the plight. She ran the tavern for you, and you had a good sleep during that time. In a word, you did nothing good. But things ended up well for you.
What? No way! I want that too. If only somebody could finish my essay when I fall asleep.
Already writing a political essay at this age? You have a promising future, young man.
Wait, when did he say it was a political essay?
But I think you should go home now and get some sleep. You need to rest well so you can continue with your studies tomorrow. After all, the essay matters much more than the story, right?
Amidst the festive hustle and bustle, a farewell brews in front of the city gates. This is the place from which people come and people go.
I have so many things to write about this time. Enough for me to write a travel note. What should I call it? Travel in the East? Journey to Pei City?
Neither of them sounds good. There are already too many travels and journeys. I think you are different from those authors, madam. So...
Gutian escorts the group to a spot near the city gate, where the road splits into two. On one side lies the road up the mountain, and on the other lies the road down. He slowly descends to the ground, standing still, stiff, and slightly uncomfortable. The human companions of the two arcanists retreat in caution and fear from the strange bird creature.
Indeed. Unlike others, the two of you have experienced it in its entirety.
what do you mean?
There was a beginning, and now here is an end. Forget not where you came from at the end. This is the entirety. Thus, happiness is found.
I'm sorry that I still don't understand your riddles.
That's no matter.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can we go? I really want to go home right away.
To be honest, I didn't get what he was saying either, but...
Oh, then we shall.
I think I'm just tired at this point.
Please wait. There's one more thing.
Certainly. Please.
The questions you asked, have you had the answers?
I'm not sure.
What do you mean?
When Zherneng Se jumped over the bridge, Yenisei saw a pattern being formed where I wrote my question. We didn't understand it. It didn't bother us either. Perhaps because there was no answer to my question.
A question is asked, and a divination is made. What you saw might be a hexagram, not the interpretation of it. Do you still remember what it looks like?
Yenisei thinks for a moment and uses a rock hammer handle to draw crooked and twisted lines in the sand, with occasional breaks in the middle of them.
It changed a little, and ended up like this.
The hexagram of water and fire. I'd assume this belongs to an elderly person. What about yours?
Yenisei is stunned for a moment, then draws a few more lines. By the end of it, her offering is already rather messy, so much so that she stretches out a section of it. Fortunately, Gertien can still read it.
This is Xu, the hexagram of waiting. Though I don't know what could be derived from it. The interpretation is simple. Above is water, the stranding dragon, advising patience. Below is uprightness, which means you will smooth away the obstacles.
Which means...
You will find your water. All you need to do is wait.
Yes, thank you. I didn't know that.
As for your hexagram, you have gone across the river. A decision has been made.
I see.
Turns out the divination doesn't help at all.
Oh, not one bit.
It does, if you believe in it.
Oh, I bet. Well, I'll try believing in it as well then.
No, I know what you mean.
Pretty sure it's not gonna work out well for me, but whatever.
It is exactly how I expected it to be. Thank you, Mr. Gertien.
No need.
And what about you? Have you learned your answer?
It told me to let things be. Since I have left the mountain, I should follow what's inside my mind.
Gertien turns his head and points his wing towards the path of the mountain.
I remember that at the end of the Peiling River, where the lanterns float, stands a great building. It might be real or illusional. I have seen it many times, yet I have never thought of going there.
The two of them look in the direction pointed out by Gertien, only seeing the jungle into which Jiu Youngzhe disappeared and nothing more.
There's nothing there.
I will go anyway.
Then... what about Junong Se? She jumped over the bridge. Is she never coming back?
Gertien doesn't answer. He only shakes his head. All Yenisei can do is glance over to Gertien, filled with unspoken inquiries. Basmer turns around the distant cliffs and jungle, standing without speaking for a long while. Until at last, she breaks her silence.
Perhaps we will meet again. One day.
Be continued again. Stage 23, we will meet again. The party journeys along the river for a long time, but the night never falls. Most of them are in a hurry to leave. The same desire as before, but now much stronger than ever before, more than enough to bring the long-awaited harmony of a common purpose to the team. And no one dares mention their experiences for the rest of the trip.
Let's make camp after we get out of the forest. What do you say?
I'm fine with it. How are you feeling, Mr. Jurian?
I'm fine with that.
A few still harbor a lingering curiosity, one they endure for a long time, and until unable to resist, they turn around to see if the ancient city on the mountainside is still in sight. But while this is not a story where those who look back might turn into pillars of salt, there remains no trace of the strange city that should have still been in view. And as they walk onward, the revived river known as the Pale Inn, too, has changed its appearance.
Madam, the river!
The once wide river invisibly splits into slender tributaries behind them, spread out across the lush spring meadows like a rope net. Even if they wanted to find it, they might never distinguish the one that would lead them back.
What is it?
The compass is working! Great!
Their fellow traveler excitedly raises his hands, briefly blocking Yenisei's gaze from Besmet. The girl takes advantage of the situation and withdraws the words she cannot say. She only gently shakes her head.
Nothing. Let's move.
Hello, Barbie. I hope you had a nice day.
The compass is working, which means we can rely on the map again.
Oh, that's good. As for the book I'm going to write...
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yes? Have you decided the title?
Yes. I will call it... Notes on Schwaru.
Notes on Shore.
Oh, so we're back at where we were in the very first stage.
Yes, that's the title.
She flips over a page and continues reading.
The title is actually not a good choice for a book on geographical discoveries. On one hand, there is no doubt that Shuaji is a difficult word for the target readers of this book. On the other hand, the word notes, in most cases, is used to describe the collections of informal essays. They usually record the daily talks of professional writers, and thus include a variety of ideas and inspirations. As a geographer, however, I don't possess enough knowledge of literature to write the real notes, nor does the assistant who takes dictations from me, unfortunately. Even so, we have decided to use these words for the title. Postscript. The title has also been included in the first draft we sent to the editors of Motherland Documentary and the Department of Publication Review. The next page is missing. Let me see. Oh, found it. June 4. Sunny. I never knew the journey back to Omsk would take so long. My assistant and I set off from Yekaterinburg last year, and we didn't arrive until now. In Omsk, we met the governor again. I left him some drafts of this book, in return for the help from the local Scientific Research Association. Those drafts have recorded the steppe ecosystem around the Om River in detail. For example, before we arrived in Omsk, we followed a herd of sheep across the river. The wool on their tails was apparently matted. I recorded this detail because the way they crossed the water was almost a miracle. It is known to all that sheep can be easily drowned because their thick wool holds them back in water. Yet, things seemed different for those sheep. They had been trained by the local herders and were able to cross the river swiftly, as if they were only several balls of cotton floating on the water.
When they came to the shore, I noticed that their hooves were in the shape of a round cake, with one slice missing.
Wait. Hello there, Vertin. It's been a while. What are you doing here?
They climbed out of the water with their little cake hooves, shook themselves dry, and continued on to the next pasture, never hesitant to go forward, never looking back. Seeing all these, I hope I would be as determined as these sheep in my future journey. Today's article was an extract from a geographic manuscript from St. Pavlov Foundation Far East Branch, recorded by Yenisei. Next is the news broadcast.
What is the meaning of this?
Miss Radio?
Yes, I'm here.
What time is it now?
It's 4:15 p.m.
The nap went on a little longer than I thought.
Yes. How are you feeling?
I think I had a dream. Many animals were jumping over a broken bridge.
I read you a story which has zebras and sheep in it.
Zebras and sheep? I don't remember that.
Excuse me? Is Timekeeper in the room?
I am.
May I come in? There's something I need to confirm with you.
I'm sorry. Who's that?
It's me, Ernesto.
I might have taken too long a nap. Never mind. Please, come in.
I am utterly confused.
Timekeeper, you don't look very well. Are you alright? It's okay. I had a weird dream. What's going on?
Oh, it's a letter from the Foundation. A colleague from the Russian branch was transferred to the headquarters today. She has shown a strong willingness to perform long-term field missions. Thus, the headquarters intends to transfer her to the Timekeeper squad. Would you have a meeting with her? It is said that she is experienced in geographical exploration and survival in the wilderness. She could be a great helper.
Geographical exploration? What's her name?
Please hold on. Let me check her file here. And her name is Yenisei.
The end. As usual, I'm recording this little conclusion to wrap things up. However, this time it is not going to be short. I'm gonna be honest. After that ending, I do not know what to think about this event story. The revelation that Vertin was taking a nap while Miss Radio was recounting an event from the past had me confused. Was it all merely Vertin's dream? Was none of what we saw reality? The reason I'm thinking that way is because as far as I know, dreams are often not an accurate depiction of reality. They are more like our mind's interpretation of what reality is, and it can take many forms. So, if what we saw was merely Vertin's mind's interpretation of what Miss Radio was saying while Vertin was napping, then I have no idea what actually happened in reality. We know Yenisei actually exists and is joining Vertin's team, but what about Besmet? What about the rest? I spent the entirety of the story focused on who Besmet was and her potential connection to Vertin, which I will agree is my own bias, but if it was just a dream, then perhaps Besmet was merely Vertin's representation of herself within her own dream, which is somewhat disappointing given the fact that Besmet seemed to be surrounded by mystery. On the other hand, we could choose to believe that what we saw was actually what Miss Radio was broadcasting, meaning that everything we saw was indeed reality. This eases things, but that also means that I now have absolutely no idea who Besmet is or if she has any connection to Vertin, which is again somewhat disappointing. Again, I went into this event seeking an answer to a question I asked, so my disappointment is partially of my own doing. I say partially because I feel like Besmet's design had to be intentional. The devs could have designed her in a myriad of other ways, but they chose a design that would remind us of Vertin. Or at the very least, that is how I felt when I first saw her in the trailer and then in the story. But obviously, I could be wrong about everything. As for the story in its entirety, I mostly enjoyed it. The first part with the research team and Mr. Kralik dragged on a bit, but I was excited to discover something new about the game, so I didn't pay too much attention and I didn't mind at the time. Then things start really picking up once we get to the city, and I was still into the story for most of it. One thing I'll say is that I wish we had more of Jun Young-je. I feel like we spent most of our time exploring Gertian's motives, which is definitely interesting, but Jun Young-je felt like a secondary character even though she is the very first limited character in the game. So once again, I went in expecting her to be the main focus, but I didn't feel like she was. She only popped out at the end in order to reveal things to us. Another thing I didn't particularly enjoy was the fact that the entire story came from miscommunication upon miscommunication. Gertian's inability to express himself properly in front of Li Zhang and the government officials was understandable, but also quite infuriating. And Li Zhang, for his part, went from kind and understanding to a brick wall, unwilling to listen to anything Gertian had to say. Then, even though I love Jun Young-je and I think she's absolutely adorable, she did have some flaws in the story as well. Honestly, the way she misunderstood people's wishes, the way she thought what she was doing was fine, it felt like she had been raised in the wilds, either by wolves or by monkeys, who knows, maybe it was Mowgli style or like Tarzan. But I do believe that she was manipulated by the monk who raised her, who is yet another character I feel we lack information on. I also do think that Jiu's lack of common sense and what I said previously went a bit too far. Now, for the ending, it felt like it was just yada yada magic bullshit, everything works out and everyone is fine by the end. I mean, I'm all for a happy ending, but this felt like it came out of nowhere. It felt like it was just wishing upon a star and praying that everything would end up perfectly. I was definitely sad to see Jiu disappearing into the night after jumping over the bridge like it was some sort of sacrifice, and I do believe it was some sort of sacrifice on her part. But at the same time, I didn't feel like our protagonist worked for that happy ending. It just sort of happened. It just sort of clicked and everything was fine. Which is nice, but it definitely lacks some kind of depth, I believe. So yeah, that was my long-winded opinion on the story. As I said before, I enjoyed most of my time experiencing it, but by the end I felt like it certainly had a lot of room for improvement, and at times it did leave a somewhat sour note in my mouth. So I had to point things out. That being said, this is merely my take on it. If you enjoyed the story, you are well within your rights to do so, and I am not here to crush your happiness. I'm actually very curious to hear about what you have to say about it. So leave your thoughts on this story in the comments down below. If you liked this video, don't forget to press the like button ever so gently and subscribe for more. I am Happy Owl, and this has been my production.